Our vision at Clwbiau Plant Cymru Kids Clubs is a Wales where children play and communities prosper.
We are the voice of out-of-school childcare clubs in Wales. Working closely with Welsh Government and through support from other funders allows us to ensure that we not only guide but give a voice to the out-of-school childcare sector, using our local knowledge from operational level staff. Our Board of Trustees, elected from our members, ensure the best interest of clubs and other stakeholders are considered in our management decisions. We welcome new and diverse representation from the sector and also seek co-opted trustees who can bring specific skills such as financial management or marketing.
Since established in 2001, we've refined our sector-specific expertise, and we're best placed to help steer out-of-school childcare clubs and communities across Wales to support the needs of children, their families and the Welsh economy.
I joined the Board of Trustees for Clwbiau Plant Cymru Kids Clubs because I wanted to make a difference in the childcare and play sector. I wanted to have a voice and I wanted to also be part of the change with the sector.
I don't think clubs can actually function without Clwbiau's support. Policies, ideas, problems, you just need to pick the phone up and they're there straight away to answer any queries that you have.
The things I value most about Clwbiau Plant Cymru is the opportunities to go on courses to update our skills and improve on our work.
We support children's right to play and quality childcare. Our passionate team of training officers deliver essential qualifications in play work, which is a vital part of growing and evolving the sector and securing its future. We deliver training, online and in person, to continue the professional development of play workers and enhance the quality of play provision. We also deliver practical workshops with children directly within clubs, offering opportunities to develop skills and confidence in a playful way. We support sustainable, affordable childcare that meets the needs of children, their families and communities. Our knowledgeable childcare business development officers provide easily accessible, sector-specific business skills mentoring for prospective, new or established out-of-school childcare businesses of all management types, in person or remotely, to meet their needs. We're constantly developing new bilingual resources, templates and guides, with lots of passionate staff working behind the scenes to make this happen. We support out-of-school childcare clubs to meet the needs of communities and reflect the diversity within them. We've pledged to support Cymraeg 2050, and we take pride in our commitment to the Welsh language and in encouraging those we work with to use and appreciate its worth. Visit www.clwbiauplantcymru.org.
Get involved with the amazing work that we do. We're only one click away.
What are your favourite play memories from your childhood?
One of my favourite childhood memories when I was growing up was playing with all the kids in the street. We'd get our bikes out, we'd get the tricycles out, we'd get the go-karts out and we'd have races around the street.
My favourite childhood play memory would be playing with Cindy's and the big doll's house that I had.
My favourite play memory from childhood is being on the beach with my nana, helping to make sandcastles, watching the Alaman boat go in and out, and spending the whole day there with a picnic.
The world has changed, but children's need for play hasn't. Out-of-school childcare clubs run before school, after school and during school holidays to give your children that compensatory play space where they can explore, improve social skills, confidence and happiness, play more, try new activities and develop new skills and friendships.
Play is important for children because it just helps on so many levels. They learn through their play, they can be creative, they can be themselves.
I think play is really important for children because it builds resilience, it helps them to negotiate risk, it helps them holistically develop.
Children have the freedom to do what they want to do.
I think inclusive childcare is really important because every child needs to have the opportunity to play.
Whether you're working from home, travelling to a workplace, or simply wanting your child to benefit from quality, fun play experiences with their peers, out-of-school childcare clubs can help. You probably already know someone who's relying on an out-of-school childcare club to work, train or for respite. Playworkers and out-of-school childcare clubs support the wider economy, as well as nurturing a creative, resilient next generation with their own set of play memories.
We as a family use a childcare after-school club because I don't have any family or close friends nearby that can help out with childcare. Me and my husband both work full-time for the NHS, so having someone that you can depend on to pick up your child after school, knowing that they're in a safe and fun environment means a big difference to us as a family.
In the classroom, it's all structured learning, so it's nice to have the time to play with the friends that she's made in school.
So I did pick her up at kind of school time, but then she'd end up coming home with me and then I'm working from home, so she'd just be in the house watching TV. So she gets a lot more here.
Because my daughter's an only child and it's really important for me that she has a variety of children that she can play with of all different ages and all different backgrounds.
Out-of-school childcare clubs reflect the needs and diversity of their local communities. But to stay open, keep fees low and continue providing their much-needed services, they need to be used. You can find out about local out-of-school childcare clubs via Clwbiau Plant Cymru Kids Club's website, Dewis Cymru, or through Care Inspectorate Wales's website. Using a club that is registered with Care Inspectorate Wales means that staff will be qualified, DBS checked, and that the service will be meeting the national minimum standards. It also opens up financial assistance schemes where you're eligible.
What will your children's favourite play memories be?
Are you passionate about play and about supporting children and their rights? Do you want to make a difference to children and their families within your community? Working within breakfast clubs, after-school clubs and holiday clubs, Playworkers provide a safe and welcoming environment for children, with lots of opportunities to play, explore and inspire imaginations. With the help of Clwbiau Plant Cymru Kids Clubs, you can gain the qualification you need whilst working within an out-of-school club, helping you to understand all about the many benefits of play and the playwork principles.
I absolutely love working in the playwork sector for so many reasons. The list is endless, but the most important thing is my job is fun. Every day is fun. Every day we're making memories.
I love being a play worker because I get paid to play. I can just be a big kid and enjoy myself. It beats being in an office job.
It's a privilege to work alongside the children.
I got into childcare 13 years ago because I had 2 young children. I went into early years and I started helping out in an after-school club and a play scheme, and I really fell in love with it because of how we covered the age range. And then I ended up doing all my qualifications and I had an opportunity to support somebody doing training in playwork, and I fell in love with seeing how the spark of people and how much they developed in play. So I decided to get into assessing and become a training officer.
I started primary school teaching 8 years ago, a career which I loved, but recently I've decided to make a change and I currently work as a play worker in a setting that I love. I've been there since October 2018. A few of the things that appealed to me were that I thought I could still use my teaching skills because some of the roles are quite similar. So you're still in charge and looking after a large group of children, putting their welfare, their safeguarding at the forefront of everything you do. However, I feel with playwork you have more of a chance to build a stronger relationship with the children. You get to enjoy the role and have more fun with it, really.
We're very fortunate that most of the children that join us when they're 4, we see them right through to their 11. So you can see kind of how they develop and they learn the new skills, like the look on their faces when they've achieved something and they've done it themselves. That, I mean, there's so much they get out of playing. I think diversity in the playwork workforce is incredibly important because Wales is a multicultural society, and I just think it's important for children from ethnic minority backgrounds to be able to see somebody that looks like them.
Quite like about playwork in that it's learning through play. The children, you give them the options and they can kind of choose to do what they want. It's not forced, you're not teaching them as such, you're just overseeing it, facilitating it.
Playworkers are the beating heart of the out-of-school childcare sector. As a playwork professional, you'll provide quality childcare, enriching children through play, whilst also providing vital support to the wider economy. To find out more about starting your career in playwork, visit www.clubiauplantcymru.org.
Make a difference, become a playworker. Wnewch gwahaniaeth, byddwch yn Gweithwyr Chwarae.
Croeso I Cynhadledd a Seremoni Wobrwyo Gofal Plant Allysgol 2024. Welcome to our Out of School Childcare Conference and Award Ceremony 2024. Dwi'n Jane O'Toole, Prif Swyddog Gweithredol, Chief Executive Officer. Hoffwn rhoi croeso cynnes I enwebion ei gwyborau, clybiau, gweithwyr chwarae, gwirfoddolwyr ac eraill sy'n ymuno a'n cynhadledd ar YouTube. I would like to give a warm welcome to our award nominees, clubs, playworkers, volunteers, and others joining our conference on YouTube. Rwyf hefyd yn gyfroes I groesawu ein siaradwyr gwad. I'm also excited to welcome our guest speakers here on our StreamYard platform. Stephen Rule, aka Dr. Cymraeg, Laura Williams and Natalie Vater from Crew Team, Creating Resilience for Emotional Wellbeing, and Keith Towler, former Children's Commissioner, and current chair of Play Wales. Thanks must also go to the sponsors of this evening's event. Tonight is an opportunity to say thank you and to value and celebrate our out-of-school childcare sector. Before we can start, some quick housekeeping. As participants, you'll be muted and others won't be able to see you. You can message us through YouTube, and all working well, we'll see your comments and questions in the chat function in StreamYard. There will, of course, be opportunities to ask questions to each presenter, and any that we can't get to, we will follow up after the conference. Tonight's agenda includes, as already mentioned, a really exciting lineup of speakers, interspersed with our award presentations and recognition of our Playwork graduates and Welsh learners. I always like to start with good news. As you may already know from our social media posts, thanks to the Moondance Foundation, we're once again, for the third year, able to offer free membership for all clubs until March 25. I encourage you to look out for your renewal email, which will give you instructions on how to activate your membership through your club portal via our website. Renewing will give you access to a professional and knowledgeable team for support, resources, template policies and guidance, along with weekly bulletins and quarterly newsletters. You'll also be the first to hear about funded Playwork qualifications and CPD opportunities. The funding from the Moondance Foundation will also allow us to continue our Assisted Places scheme, supporting disadvantaged children and their families, as well as helping to sustain clubs by taking up spare places. As in the previous year, it is intended that clubs will work with schools and social workers to offer places to children in a non-stigmatised way. Look out for more details on our socials and website, and sign up to our weekly bulletin for more information on its launch. Last year, through this funding, we were able to subsidise 1,658 places for 141 children in 34 clubs, with a tremendous impact on young lives. We're very grateful to the trustees of the Moondance Foundation for this support and their recognition of the roles that clubs play in providing the best outcomes for children in Wales, whatever they're going through. In recognition of the Recruitment and Retention Challenge, we are also successfully tendered for Welsh Government's Training and Support Programme, enabling us to deliver 750 Playwork qualifications over the next year, a range of Level 2 and Level 3 qualifications that will support new recruits and volunteers in the sector, as well as upskill existing staff. Tonight, we'll be hearing about the incredible number of Playwork graduates who've achieved a qualification in the last 12 months, over 400 graduates. Also, clubs' engagement with continuing professional development to improve their practice, with significant uptake and interest in our Welsh Camau courses, Welsh Promise, and our DARPL Column anti-racist training. In the last year, through various projects, we've seen the quality, sustainability and governance of clubs engaging with our childcare business development officers and training officers go from strength to strength, working together to gain Care Inspectorate Wales and tax-free childcare registration, improve and strengthen governance through CIOs and upskill through Playwork qualifications. With a rising cost of living, we know families struggle to pay for childcare, and that clubs struggle to pay rent, wages, not to mention food and other resources. Incredibly, in these cash-squeezed times, an estimated 800,000 eligible parents across the UK do not access tax-free childcare and do not know about other benefits such as the childcare offer and universal credits, where families on low income could receive up to 85% of their childcare costs. For the sustainability of your setting and to support families, we urge you to go out of your way to understand and promote the support available to parents and carers, and check with them that they are accessing that support. We'll shortly be launching a marketing needs analysis to help you do this. As the voice of the sector, we've recently given evidence at the Sene's Equality and Social Justice Committee's follow-up inquiry to childcare and parental employment. We highlighted your challenges, achievements and support needs. We've responded to the consultation on the reform of the school year and, steered by your input, are finalising our response to Welsh Government on the professional registration of the workforce consultation. We continue to engage with you all to be the voice of the sector, to influence decision makers at a national and local level. We'll now share some of the key findings of our third National Club Survey before the report is published in spring. I would now like to ask Alex Fudge, our Development Manager based in South Wales, to bring you some of the headlines of our State of the Sector survey. Over to you, Alex.
Thanks, Jane, and thank you to the 298 out-of-school club settings, over a third of you, 35%, who responded to inform the State of the Sector report. This has allowed us, first and foremost, to provide tailored support to individual respondents. It's really reassuring to see that the reduction of services has slowed down significantly since we started the survey 3 years ago. With a loss, we're still experiencing losses to the sector, but with a loss of just 9 settings from April to December last year. We lost 14 settings and 36 clubs the year previously. And we continue to support new clubs to open. On another positive note, the settings responding that they're registered with the Care Inspectorate Wales, and Jane's just outlined why it's so important. So we had 89% with a further 7% working towards or wanting support, and those registered for tax-free childcare, 84%, and for the childcare offer, 78% have risen significantly, providing much needed support to families in difficult economic times and improving sustainability for clubs. Undeniably, the survey also tells us that the sector continues to struggle. This will be no surprise to you, particularly with financial sustainability and staff shortages. We're working closely with Welsh Government and other partners to promote Playwork as a career, and our training and support programme will qualify both new recruits and existing staff. Occupancy of clubs is on average 78% term time and 73% during school holidays compared to the number of places offered. Out of those 298 clubs, 901 children are on waiting lists, but with lack of staff with appropriate qualifications being the main barrier to accepting these children on the waiting list. In terms of retention and recruitment, 593 staff have left positions in the last 12 months, and the majority are leaving for jobs outside the sector, whilst others have found other work inside the sector, and others quoted some other reasons. There's a high need for qualifications and training, and also a real desire for continuing professional development to keep improving your practice. For example, to support using Welsh and to support diversity. And we're really pleased to have accessed funding to meet your demands in these areas. No surprise again, it's something that you've been telling us for a little while, that there are increasing children's support and wellbeing needs. And I'm really looking forward to Laura and Natalie's presentation later on how to introduce mindfulness into clubs' daily routines. And obviously, I think it's important that we shout loudly about the wellbeing impact of play on children as well. So 86% of the clubs had children's support and wellbeing needs, with the most common issues being difficulty managing emotions. 66% came in with that. Speech and language challenges, low self-confidence and esteem, anxiety or low mood. There's some other challenges there, but they were the most common that clubs reported. So on to the sustainability and the future prospects. We know we've got to continue being the voice for you, our sector, because there are still significant challenges. And we will do that at every single opportunity, whether it's through consultation, our meetings with Welsh Government and others, to explain the state of the sector and your support needs. and work with our partners to mitigate those. So in terms of financial sustainability, 26% of term time clubs did not think they were financially sustainable or were unsure. And that rose to 41% during the school holidays. 50% rely on other services to support the out-of-school element of their business. And in terms of longer term impacts, these are still worryingly high. And in the next 12 months, clubs are considering increasing fees, 69% of you, closing elements of the service, 21%, reducing opening times, 18%, and deregistration, 10%. So as I said, we will be highlighting this report with CIW, local authority, Welsh Government and others. Our recommendations will continue to focus on support that you need, on funding, on qualifications and training for the sector, recruitment and retention, and the high value of the play worker role, promoting the benefits of play of registered clubs, and on affordability initiative to support fees such as tax-free childcare and universal credits and the childcare offer. Jane, back to you.
Thank you, Alex. I suppose not surprised about those initial findings. Things continue to be tough for the sector. We pledge to continue to represent you through our strategic plan with Welsh Government and wider, to be your voice going forward, supporting ongoing sustainability. Tonight, however, is about celebrating all that you do. In the face of these challenges, you keep moving forward, supporting the children and families who rely on you. We have 10 awards for which we've received many worthy nominations, demonstrating the wonderful work going on in the sector. Shortlisted nominees for the 3 categories of out-of-school childcare club, play worker, and learner of the year have already been shared with you online for online voting, whilst the remaining winners have been selected by our panel made up of our Board of Trustees. We've had to make some tough decisions shortlisting and choosing winners, but have been really inspired reading the nominations. So here we see all of the shortlisted clubs. The awards that they have been nominated for are Out of School Childcare Club, Champions of Inclusion, Promoting Positive Diversity, Play Champions, Commitment to Continuing Professional Development, Welsh Language Champions, and Supporting Staff Wellbeing. And here we see the play workers and volunteers that have been nominated. The categories that they are up for are Play Worker of the Year, Learner of the Year, and Volunteer of the Year. We will be revealing the winners throughout the evening, and some of them will be joining us live online tonight. I gefnogi ein gwaith o gynnwys mwy o'i Cymraeg yn ein glybiau, mae'n bleser mawr gen I gyflwyno Stephen Rule, neu Doctor Cymraeg. Fel mae'n cael ei nabod ar-lein a rhoi tips bach, triciau ac adnoddiau I rai sy'n dysgu Cymraeg. Fe hefyd, gyda postiau fy merch am fy mweres, yw unig reswm dwi'n mynd ar Instagram. Dyma'r ei god QR a sgrin I ddilyn. Our sector is incredibly motivated to increase the use of Welsh in settings, supported by our team of enthusiastic Welsh language development officers. I'm really pleased to introduce our first guest, Stephen Rule, otherwise known as Dr. Cymraeg, who, along with my daughter's posts about my granddaughter, is the only reason I go on Instagram. Stephen has amassed a huge following. I think he hit 50,000 over the weekend on social media, and that just keeps growing, offering tips, tricks, and resources to support Welsh language learners like myself, hence the stuttering in my Welsh. If you don't already follow him, please see the QR code on screen. I'd highly recommend you do. It's very entertaining. Over to you, Stephen.
Oh, I can't follow that. Oh my word! And you know what? I had a chat with Jane before this, and I knew she'd smash it, and I'm sure everybody watching will agree she did as well. Diolch yn fawr! Wow, my word! And she's left me on the screen on my own as well. This is I'm diolch. I am humbled, and ironically don't know the word for humble in Welsh. I am honestly, I was so amazed to even be considered to speak at something as incredible as this, and to be welcomed in that way. I'm a little bit taken aback and mediocrely emotional as well, actually, Jane. So diolch I chi, I ti, Jane, ac I bawb yma heno. So diolch yn fawr iawn, diolch. Yes, I was asked to share a little bit about my background, if I may, and I'm gonna hope that I don't send you all to sleep with it, but I think it caveats what I'm doing quite nicely, I hope. So my background is totally English medium. I grew up in a small village in the northeast, reasonably close to the border with our neighbours next door, and and everything was done through the medium of English. Everything was my school life, my home life, my social life. Everything I did was through the medium of English. And I enjoyed my Welsh lessons in school, but I do often remember asking myself as a naive 8-year-old, wondering why I needed 2 words for a chair when pointing at the thing and saying chair usually did the job. I wondered why I needed to have the word cadair in there as well. I remember asking myself that question, but sort of getting on with it and enjoying as much as I could. And it took me till I was about probably 11, 12, probably 13 years old, perhaps. And I found myself being really, I just fell in love with the language. I found that I was pretty good at it. Not many other things in school, unfortunately, but Welsh seemed to be okay. And I found myself wanting to be part of it more and more. I found that it was making me a little bit unique, I think. And I think a lot of young people at that age, that's what you look for at that age, isn't it? You want to be a little bit different. You want to be, you want to stand out a little bit. And whether you want to shout that from the rooftops or not, you just want to be a little bit different. You want to know that you are an individual and you know you're unique. And Welsh offered that for me, and that was where my love sort of blossomed for it, to be honest. I think that probably an element of living quite close to the border sort of played a role in that, but definitely just being and feeling unique was the sort of driving force in wanting to do Welsh. But that was it. There was no sort of community around there. Some of my friends didn't really enjoy it very much. Some did, but didn't want to take it as seriously as I did, and things like that. And I understand everybody has different desires and they want to take their life in different ways. I'm not naive to that, and I understand that. And, I found that getting to where I am with Welsh has taken my lifetime up to now to do that. And I'm still learning, of course. Dwi'n dal I ddysgu. I'm still learning. Dwi'n dal I ddysgu. And I pushed on then into GCSE, obviously through the medium of English. I did reasonably well. I went into A-level. I did well there, I like to think. But I still think back, and I wasn't fluent at that point. And it broke my heart a little bit that I put in so much time and effort to do something that I really loved, and I still didn't feel like I was there, And in my head, I always wanted to read for history in the university. And I think starting A-level and things like that, I realized that I have to do this. I have to be fluent in this language. It's given me so much in my lifetime up to then that I just wanted it to be a big part of my life. I wanted to continue feeling unique and like an individual. And I went to the university, I gained my degree, and it was there that I realized that it wasn't just about being unique, because I found something that I never knew existed, and it was a community. It was a different way of looking at the world, a different way of understanding and explaining things, different people and people for whom Welsh it's their life. It's not their choice. It's their life. Everything they do is not out of choice to do it in Welsh. They just do it. And I just found it was a really beautiful community of which to be a part, and I'm still grateful for that. And I just fell in love with Cymraeg all over again. I always knew that I wanted to be a teacher. And 13 years later, I can say that I'm very proud to still be one. But I think I went into teaching with the philosophy of, I want to make Welsh fun. I want to make it interactive. I want people to see that there is a beautiful point to it. And I do try my best to keep up with that philosophy as I'm going along. Yeah, so I like to think I'm doing that. And it's just been wonderful. I've had the chance to teach children from 11 to 18 years old. I still do. I've taught adults. And then, of course, to thankfully bring this, whatever it is I'm talking about, to a close and stop boring you all. During COVID time, where social media was our entire life, I decided to try and improve my mental health by not scrolling through politics on Twitter and getting angry every 2 seconds. And I just thought, why can't we have a one-stop shop where people can ask questions and be motivated and share their wonderful experiences with this language and hopefully have a bit of a laugh? And somehow that happened, and I realize how egotistical it looks to call myself a doctor when I do not have a PhD. As from the picture, I think the first time I ever put my face on Dr. Cymraeg, someone said, "You don't have red hair," which was an interesting question. The next one was, "Oh, I thought you were about 60." And sadly enough, that was after they saw the video of me the first time, which makes me sad. But yeah, and Dr. Cymraeg grew from there, and it just made this community of wonderful people who were maybe starting out in their journey with Cymraeg, or who were at the native side, maybe native they use it every day, or native where they're a little bit lacking in confidence, or people who have been through school in Welsh and want to improve on that, people who are doing Duolingo, all these different ways that people interact with the Welsh language. It was a really lovely way to bring everybody together. And as Jane alluded to earlier, 50,000 people are mad enough to follow whatever it is I do on Instagram, and it truly is humbling. So, and then the final piece of the jigsaw is my little boy. And it's really lovely to be part of Clwbiau Plant Cymru this evening, because my little boy is 3 years old, and we speak Welsh at home. I'm unfortunate in some way to live in Flintshire, where in my area there is no provision for him to have this part of his life through the medium of Welsh. However, there are some fun parts to it, where he'll come home and say, "Hello, everyone," and it's just me sitting there, and I'm wondering, can he see ghosts or something like that? I don't know, but he's definitely he asks those questions, and his English is improving, of course, and that's a lovely thing. But would I prefer it if he had the chance to do that in Welsh? Perhaps I would, but hey. Yes, I'm definitely going to be quiet now. Apparently, people are asking me questions. Am I all right to answer those? Sian's chucked some questions in. I'm going to do it anyway, because I have the screen and I'm nervous, so I'm going to do this. It's popped up and everything. This is posh. Pa heriau os o gwbl dych chi wedi I hwynebu wrth ddysgu Cymraeg? Yeah, challenges, heriau. Lots. Initially, opportunities to really go out there, and then once you find those opportunities and you search for them, you worry that you're not going to understand people and things like that. There's a lot of I think there's a lot of anxiety, nerves, frustration, embarrassment. All of those things come as part of it, and I think as people who want to use Welsh a lot more, we need to come to peace with those facts. There will be a time, if you are one of these people who just wants to go out there and say, "Do you know what? I'm going to use what I have." I promise you there will be a time where you'll feel, oh my word, I've said the wrong thing. And you're going to walk away and you're going to feel like you just want the ground to eat you up. And that moment is coming if it hasn't already. I still have it, but it's okay. It teaches you some wonderful life lessons and gives you a kick up the backside for good measure. So yes, it's frustrating is the main thing. I think that's the challenge. And I think we are at a point where sometimes we need to scratch the surface ourselves a little bit and just really, exactly what's happening here this evening, just really celebrate what we have, I think. So yes, opportunities, you've got to find them yourself and you've got to take that leap yourself. So yeah, question da iawn. That was a tough one to answer. You could have said, what's my favorite color, but that we'll go with that one. But yeah, that's my mild answer to that one, I think.
Diolch, Stephen.
Oh, diolch.
Diolch, Stephen. And I'm back. I not only have challenges in learning Welsh, but I also have challenges with technology and click the wrong button. Anyway, back in the room, thankfully.
Brilliant. You left me alone there, Jay. We were going to fall out for a second.
I'm sorry. Right. Okay, on to the next question.
No worries.
Which I'm going to try and do bilingually.
Come on, you smashed it before, Jay. I'm excited for you.
Okay, I got this. Right. Sut gallwn ni gael yn rai sy'n gyndyn I ddysgu'r Cymraeg a ran o'n clwb oes gennych chi unrhyw awgrymiadau I gadw'r momentum I fynd ymlaen I ddysgu Cymraeg mewn clwb? How can we get reluctant learners of the Welsh language on board within our club? Do you have any tips to keep the momentum going on learning Welsh in a club?
I knew you'd smash it. And you did. Oh, bendigedig. Tipiau, yeah. What you guys do already is so amazing. It's so... You got into it and you're in it because you love it. And I can't imagine all the tiny little things that pop up throughout the day that you guys do that you think, today's going to be this, this, and this. And it becomes this with a bit of that, and then this again, and then some more of this, and everything happens. And by the end of the first 5 minutes, you're wedi blino, to use a phrase I'm hoping everybody knows. I'm not naive to that. I'm naive to what those things are because I've never had the pleasure to work in this setting, but I know that. I know that there are a million things you have to do and a million more you want to do. So for someone here to say, chuck a bit of Cymraeg in there as well, I understand how that feels. I get it. But you're already doing wonderful things. If I can share a quick anecdote with you, don't be afraid to use what you have, because to put them on the level of how sad I am, I'm currently on Duolingo smashing Latin, right? That's my kind of weird, all right? And I also bought the book, The Gruffalo, in Latin. And I thought, well, why not read it to my 3-year-old? Because why not? And I did that. I read it to him in the morning. And I'd just done some Duolingo as well just before he got up. And about 2 minutes later, he was in the kitchen. And I'd just been sent this book to advertise on my super cool Instagram account that everybody should follow. Dr_Cymraeg. And I went in there and he was holding this book that I was about to use for a video and he was holding it. He wasn't doing anything bad with it, but I thought I'm going to need that book in its pristine condition to do my super cool video. And I thought, you know what? Stuff it. Let's have a go. And I remembered what the Latin word for book was. And I remembered it was an object of the sentence. So I'd need to sort of change the ending. And I said, instead of saying, Bedwyr, gai llyfr os gwelwch yn dda, I said, da mihi librum, quaiso, right? Just for a laugh. And he turned to me, looked me square in the face, pulled this book to his chest and went, nah, daddy. And the reason I tell this story is because kids they don't care what language you speak to them, but they don't care. Like, he knew that I was asking him a question. He could hear it in my tone of voice. He could see my hand going towards him. He knew he had something of mine and he was cheeky for having it. And he worked out through context. And what I'm trying to say to you is, don't ever worry that you're not good enough. If anybody wants to question any Welsh that you share with young people, tell them to go and speak fluent Welsh to them all the way through then. You are making a beautiful difference. You are giving this language to people. You may be the only occasion they get to hear this language. I'm not trying to burden you with things, but for want of a better phrase, it almost is. What you are doing is you're giving people the opportunity and opening their eyes to hear this beautiful language of ours. And I don't care if you miss a mutation. I do it all the time. I'm just looking around to this thing I've just bought and I'm hoping I haven't mismutated on there, but I probably have. It doesn't matter. You've used the wrong word. You've chucked in English. Doesn't matter at all. Children don't mind. And just be amazed at how much you can speak with them and how much they can react with you. What it means to people is amazing. And you are able to offer that. You are the first port of call for these people. And I just want to tell you, you're doing a wonderful job, and anything extra you can chuck in, you're an absolute hero. So that's my message, really. And also read the Latin version of Gruffalo. It's beautiful.
I think I might need to master my Welsh first. So I think the what we would say is defnyddio dy Cymraeg, just use your Cymraeg. And I think my team will tell you that I'm very good at defnyddio both Cymraeg a Saesneg in the same brawddeg. So,
hey, that was pretty good. Do you know what? There's more of a skill to that, Jane, than actually just doing one language. That's impressive.
Is there really? Okay. Right. I think we're just about out of time with any more questions now. So thank you for all of your answers and your presentation. We're now going to swiftly move on to introduce our celebration of role of CAMI course completers and Welsh Promise achievers. So I think we've got over 80 CAMI course completers in 2023. And after the roll, can I ask you, Stephen, to announce the winner of our award for Welsh Champion?
I'd be more than honoured, Jane. Diolch.
Diolch. Right, I think that was a very impressive scroll of honour. I love the Ymarohi that's been added to that. Thanks, Soph, for doing that. I thought it brought that extra bit of gravitas. So, Stephen, over to you now for the Welsh Language Champion Awards.
Oh my word! Do I get to disclose this information?
You do.
Oh, I'm very excited. And do you know what? This is. I'm told, and I'm certain that is nothing to do with the fact that I'm a proud Flintshire boy. It's a wonderful, fortuitous event. No, but seriously, I was told that before this, before I was to award this, that the club was just so happened to be from the similar place that I am. So it's actually even more of a wonderful honour to be able to share. It says big secret on here. Am I allowed to disclose it? Yes, indeed. Gwynedd After School Club, Club Allysgol Gwynedd in Sir Flint. So it's absolutely amazing for me to get to do that as well. Yes, llongyfarchiadau, I believe is the term. It's a great honour for me to be able to do that. So diolch, Jane. That meant the world to me. Diolch.
Diolch, Stephen. Llongyfarchiadau I Clwb ar Allysgol Gwynedd After School Club in Flintshire. You'll be getting your award shortly. So unfortunately, they couldn't join us online tonight. Okay, so thank you, Stephen, for everything this evening. And I think you need to shoot off now to put Bedwyr to gwely, I think. So thank you ever so much for your time this evening. And as Alex mentioned in our survey confirms what I suppose we already knew, that children's support and well-beings are needs are increasing in clubs. Our next speakers, Laura Williams and Natalie Vater, wellbeing support workers as well as qualified play workers, will give us tips on bringing mindfulness into daily routines. They bring a wealth of experience in relaxation and breathing techniques, and also guided meditation, supporting children suffering with anxiety and low self-esteem and low confidence to enhance well-being. Croesawn, Natalie, and Laura.
Good evening, everybody, and thank you for inviting us onto here. This is one of the first times we've ever sort of been invited to anything like this, so it's a bit of nerves, so you just have to bear with us. But yes, as mentioned, we support children with their well-being, so I'm just going to talk about sort of my role in that and the role of crew, and Natalie then can let you know things about her then as well. So here we go. So, as I've said, I'm Laura, and here's a little background about myself and my work. I currently work for the crew team, and it stands for Creating Resilience for Emotional Wellbeing. We are based in Rhondda and Taff Council, and our team supports children aged 7 to 11 years of age with their emotional wellbeing. We work on a one-to-one basis with each child within their homes and out in their communities. We may often bring them along to after-school clubs and play schemes as well. So we have weekly sessions for 6 weeks and receive our referrals from the Resilient Families team. The sessions are play-based to support children to manage their emotions, such as anger and anxiety, their resilience, confidence and self-esteem. We work on strategies to help manage these, including mindfulness techniques. I'm a qualified level 3 play worker, and I'm currently working toward my level 5. We have the lovely Phoebe as our assessor, and I have a range of experience of working with children and young people within schools, childcare, play schemes, after-school clubs and youth clubs, and have a range of qualifications to support these roles. And outside of my main employment, I'm qualified in level 2 Reiki and currently working toward my Reiki master teacher. I also use sound therapy and I'm a mindfulness and meditation practitioner. I support children and adults in one-to-one and group sessions in a range of settings. And I have helped facilitate family wellbeing camps where I provide combined sessions within the great outdoors, and examples of activities include mindful walking, meditations, sound healing and dance sessions, mindful cooking and art, while connecting with themselves, others and nature. So that's a little bit about me. So if I pass on to Natalie now.
Good evening. My name is Natalie, and I also work in the crew team supporting children with their emotional well-being. Like Laura, I am also a play worker and I'm working towards my level 5. I've previously worked in the play team delivering play sessions to children with additional needs in after-school clubs. I've also run play schemes and family fun days for children and their families in the local community. This has given them a great opportunity to try out new things that they would not otherwise have access to. I've also recently developed and piloted a 6-week mindfulness program, working with children in their school environment, practicing mindful techniques. These have been successful, and all children that have taken part have really enjoyed their experience.
Thanks, Natalie. As you can see, play work and well-being is a big passion for the both of us. So mindfulness for children then. What is mindfulness? We use a lot of mindfulness techniques within our work, so we thought we would explore the meaning of mindfulness and its benefits to children and young people who we support. One of my favourite descriptions of mindfulness is that it is a mental state by focusing one's awareness on the present moment, while calmly acknowledging and accepting one's feelings, thoughts and bodily sensations. Used as a therapeutic technique, mindfulness has roots of Buddhism and meditation. However, you don't have to be spiritual or have particular beliefs to try it. Mindfulness helps to support noticing what is happening in the present moment without judgment, and enables us to be aware of our body, mind and surroundings. With more self-awareness comes confidence and self-esteem. So what are the benefits of mindfulness for children? There are many benefits, such as allowing children to become focused within a world of many distractions, enhancing their cognitive development, improving memory, problem solving and reasoning skills. It can reduce stress, anxiety, depression and disruptive behaviours. It can boost empathy and compassion for others. Overall, mindfulness gives children and young people the tools to build their confidence, cope with stress and relate to challenging experiences that will help cultivate resilience. It can also simply allow our children to be, relax and create a feeling of calmness while being kinder to themselves. So how can we promote mindfulness with children? Here are just a few examples of how we can promote mindfulness to our children and young people in our settings. So firstly, by being positive role models in our daily role in supporting children and young people, we need to ensure that we are positive role models, as we know children imitate our actions. So if we begin regular practice and embed it within our daily routines, then children and young people are more likely to participate and develop mindfulness practice. Practice regularly and share your experiences to show how mindfulness is positive and how it helps us in our daily lives. Be patient, as it will take time to develop these skills. And you can also create opportunities for mindfulness within your daily routines by using daily check-in opportunities, by allowing our children time to sit and be within the present moment, focusing on their breath and feelings within their body. This can be used when needing to gain attention, maybe before moving on to another part in your routine or activities. Children can share how they are feeling if they wish, and this allows opportunity for self-awareness. We can bring mindfulness into your activities or times within your routines. It can be as simple as asking them to become aware of the senses when washing their hands, feeling the water, the temperature, hearing the sound of the water, maybe smelling the soap and focusing on how the soap feels when they rub their hands together, seeing bubbles appear from the soap, and just slow down and allow time for these moments. Even though our routines are busy, by allowing time to be, it will prevent feelings of frustrations when things are rushed. And then you can also create a mindful space. You may already have these areas set up within your settings, such as a calm corner or sensory space. You don't always need extra resources, as you can use what you already have to promote these mindfulness opportunities. And using both indoor and outdoor spaces to allow for mindful opportunities and allow opportunity to use the 5 senses regularly within the space to give the opportunity for children to take time out to just be, especially when feeling overwhelmed. And then here are some examples of mindfulness activities. They're very short, as we're conscious of time here. So I'd like to welcome you really to join in with me in a simple short meditation, if you'd like, just to check in and ground. And this can be used with children and young people, and you can adapt according to ages of children that you work with. For example, by changing your language and the length of time of meditations. So, if you're comfortable to do so, I welcome you to gently close your eyes. And we're going to take notice and start to feel our breath within our bodies. Take a nice deep breath in through the nose and blow the air out through your mouth. Take another deep breath in and out. And just see if you can feel your breath within your body. Maybe you can feel it in your stomach or your chest. Or maybe you can just feel it as it goes in through your nose and out through your mouth. So just take time to notice your breath and how you're feeling right now. Just check in. And I want you to bring focus onto your feet now. Look down at them and see them on the ground. Your feet are firmly touching the ground, and you are standing strong and firm. You are feeling confident and safe. Just take notice of your breath again and how you're feeling. Take another deep breath in and just let it out. Begin to feel the space around you and your body in the space. And you can wiggle your fingers and your toes. Have a nice big stretch if you wish. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. So that was just a very short example, and it just gives time just to check in, and the children to check in and just have 2 minutes out of a busy day and check in with yourself. And you can do this yourselves as well. You would then allow for opportunity for the children to share what they saw and felt. You or another member of staff could always give your experience to encourage to share theirs then, only if they feel comfortable to do so. So another example then is breathing techniques. There are many breathing techniques that can be taught to children, and here are simple ways to get children to notice their breath and be in the present moment. These can help when children are feeling frustrated or anxious, as it will slow their breathing down and help them to regulate. They can be fun distractions when feeling frustrated. So I have a windmill here, and you can use a windmill. Children love these. And you can take deep breaths in and blow the windmill, watching it move. They can spend time watching it turn around and see how long their out breath takes. So, for example, here it is. And take a nice deep breath in now and blow your breath out. And there's just something relaxing by watching the windmill, and children find these fun and don't actually realise, what they're doing. And another simple activity is just, using our hands, and then we can trace using our finger, and we breathe in and out. So breathe in as you go up the finger and breathe out as you come down. And then you just trace all the way up and down the whole hand. And it's just surprising how we can get children to focus and just be within that moment then. And then another example is using, our 5 senses. So as mentioned previously, you can use the 5 senses in lots of activities, while washing hands, cooking activities, going on nature walks, and using loose parts to explore the senses. Allow children the time to explore and reflect on what they experience then. So moving on, these were questions that were given to us before tonight. So we thought we'd answer these. And the first question we were asked was, do you find the children are open to meditation? And yes, in our experience, they are. Many meditations sound like stories, as they are guided meditations and easier to follow. So this is good, for younger children, maybe. And we use meditations within our sessions for crew. They are also used within the mindfulness program that Natalie developed for schools. And children always comment, on how relaxed they feel and how they enjoy the peace and calmness. And, just remember, it takes a little time and practice, and it can feel strange to us slowing down, but just encourage those times for the children, as it's always had positive results. And I just find that as soon as I mention doing some meditation, children are always eager to participate. And then the second question, we were asked, are there any tips on introducing mindfulness into a busy club that will benefit all children ranging from 3 to 11 years? And again, you're probably already practicing principles of mindfulness without realising, especially when you're providing activities that explore the 5 senses, cooking activities, games that include lots of physical movement. So you can, for example, have children doing different movements, running, jumping, crawling, etc. and just have them to stop, check in with their breathing and see what they can feel in their bodies. So it's not just all sitting down and meditation and things, it's checking in with how our bodies are feeling. You can use musical instruments to explore how long sounds last, for example. So this can be made into a game. So as soon as they hear the sounds of an instrument stop, they can raise their hands and compare with each other how long they could hear the sound for. Another, connecting with nature is a great way to introduce mindfulness using the 5 senses. If this isn't an option to go out, you can always bring in items from nature for them to explore, or you can set up specific areas within your setting that encourage the use of mindfulness, using cushions, fairy lights, prompts and resources that will help to encourage a mindfulness practice. Being a good role model, engaging in mindfulness practice yourselves will also encourage children to participate. And the third question then we were asked was, what simple practices can we incorporate into our daily routines to build children's confidence, self-esteem that will maintain long term? So there are things that you were probably, again, doing already, but here are a few things that we suggest. So always, giving a lot of praise and encouragement by including children within parts of the routine and making things their responsibility. For example, setting the table for snack, preparing snack, pouring their own drinks. By encouraging them to be involved in planning, within your settings and decision making, allowing them to feel valued and empowered. So by allowing time for them to pause, reflect and check in with themselves, allowing them to experience their feelings fully, and always celebrate children's strengths and differences. So that's the end of our slide. So, we'd like to thank you again for having us here and sharing our work and benefits of mindfulness for children and young people.
Diolch both. Thank you ever so much. I think I should have used some of those breathing techniques when I clicked the wrong button and left the whole presentation because I needed them. So really helpful, and hopefully we'll be able to introduce those into clubs and into our practice, certainly our working days going forward. I'd like to ask you now if you could present the winners of both the Staff Wellbeing Award, which is tonight sponsored by Thomas Carroll, and then Volunteer of the Year Award, which is sponsored by ARO.
Yeah, great. Exciting.
Okay, so here's the Staff Wellbeing Awards, which is for a manager, owner, play leader or committee that has striven to support the mental health and well-being of their staff to create a healthy, positive work environment.
Great. So should I just say now, or yeah?
Well, I'll turn the slide and you can say who the winner is.
Excited I am now, see. Oh, fantastic. So there we go. It's Gofal Plant Flourish Cymru Childcare, Rhondda Cynon Taff, YGG Ton Revel, so that's close to me as well. So well done, everybody. Fantastic.
And there you'll see their nomination. And I can promise you that we didn't line the awards up by who won, because I know that Flintshire won and Stephen's from Flintshire and you're from Arlington, but we absolutely didn't do that. So that's great. So congratulations, Gofal Plant Flourish Cymru Childcare in RCT on that award. And on to the next award. If you'd like to, almost click twice then. Introduce the Volunteer of the Year. So this is someone who's worked hard and invested in their own time to support their local out-of-school childcare club and community.
So here they are, and that's Jane Williams, Volkwyn Cabin Crew in Wrexham. I hope I'm pronouncing everything correctly.
Excellent.
Fantastic, well done. It's amazing work.
That's lovely. Thank you very much. Unfortunately, neither of those clubs could join us online tonight. I'm not sure if they're watching on YouTube. Hopefully they are. Laura and Natalie, thank you ever so much for your time tonight. Really appreciated.
Thank you, everybody. Thanks.
Thank you. I'd now like to introduce Dawn Bunn, our National Training Manager, who has just hot-footed it back from the Playwork Conference down in Eastbourne and is joining us online now. She leads an enthusiastic and experienced training team who've supported Playworkers to achieve great results. The team has a strong reputation in the playwork sector and are rated excellent by learners and the awarding body for playwork qualifications, NCFE, one of our sponsor partners this evening. The team have also worked exceptionally well in partnership with another of our sponsors, Agored Cymru, to deliver their playwork qualifications, increasing the range of training options available. This is a team who were shortlisted nominee for the Professional Development Awards in the conference that Dawn has just returned from, so the 14th Annual Playwork Awards. Personally, I think the team deserved to win, and that's not me being biased, but however they didn't, but I congratulate them on their nomination and the work that they do to support the learners across the sector. Over to you,
Jane. I think we should have won too, but that's just because I'm incredibly biased because I think they're brilliant trainers. But 2023 once again saw an amazing number of play workers engaging with training and subsequently flourishing in their careers. We have seen learners achieve from level 1 to level 5 and all the qualifications in between. We've had many high points throughout the year, many learners making meaningful changes to their practice, which have subsequently benefited children across Wales. We never fail to be inspired by their commitment to their settings and the motivational reflections of what they've learned and how this will influence their work. With all that in mind, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the training team for all their unwavering commitment for their learners, and their practice continues to make a difference every day. But without further ado, I'd like to give you the Playwork graduates of 2023. Many congratulations to them all. Impressive. I forget how many there are until you see them all like that. Next, I have the honour of introducing Learner of the Year, which was voted for through Facebook, and this was stiff competition, and we've had many well-deserving candidates. A learner, so this award is going to a learner who's worked hard to achieve their main progress towards their qualification with us. They may have involved supporting peers, participating well in sessions, making the most of their learning experiences, or overcoming challenges with passion and determination. And the Learner of the Year is Bethan Jones. Who's joined us?
I wasn't expecting that. Thank you. I love learning and developing my knowledge, and one of the best things about Clwbiau is they give you plenty of opportunities to continue your development. Totally gobsmacked. So I should have prepared something, shouldn't I? Yeah, I'd just like to thank Sarah, who's obviously my training officer, and she's really supportive throughout. And just generally, the knowledge and skills of the whole training team are fantastic in supporting you. So I recommend anyone to come and do their training with us as well. So thank you very much.
Llongyfarchiadau, Beth. Well done. So you can see there the nomination was this learner has taken complete ownership of her learning and is ahead of the game in her achievement. The work she submitted is also of exceptionally high standard and shows excellent knowledge of play, playing work and the sector. Independent research is clear throughout her work, and she's also linked her own play work practice, reflected on situations and linked to her work, again, clearly showing her understanding. Great to see a passionate, conscientious, motivated learner engaging with the qualification. And obviously she is our own training officer, but that didn't preclude her from being nominated by her training officer, and a well-deserved award. And just to say, all nominations were anonymously voted, so we didn't know who the actual nominations were. So congratulations, Bethan. We know that play boosts cognitive development, builds socialization skills and emotional development, develops children's resilience and a range of other life skills. I now have great pleasure in introducing our final speaker, Keith Towler, who will talk about the benefits of play. With 40 years of experience, Keith has served as Children's Commissioner for Wales, helped draft the general comment on Article 31, and is the chair of Play Wales and the Venture. Keith has published reports on advocacy, child protection, play, child trafficking, young carers, children and young people with disabilities, and looked after children, and sits on the Youth Justice Board for England and Wales. Welcome, Keith. Over to you.
Thank you, Jane, and for that introduction. And brilliant to be part of your conference and awards today. I've thoroughly enjoyed listening to everybody. I have to say to Natalie and Laura, as you were going through the mindfulness, I could feel myself drifting off and coming. I'm glad I've come back to join you all. Thank you for doing that, and thanks for that opportunity to check in with myself. I wanted to use the sort of 10 minutes that I've got to talk about some of the things, I suppose, that my experience has taught me about the importance of children's play. Jane mentioned that I was Children's Commissioner. So I was Children's Commissioner in Wales from 2008 to 2015. And one of the things that people sometimes ask about the role of the Children's Commissioner is, what qualifications do you need to be the Children's Commissioner? And I'd come from a kind of a social work and a youth work background. But when you look at Children's Commissioners across Europe, or indeed across the world, they have a variety of backgrounds. You know, some people are have been doctors, worked in health. Some people are lawyers. Quite a lot of people in Europe are lawyers who turn in to become Children's Commissioner. But the most important thing is that you like children, and you're not scared of them. But B, you are the sum of your own experience. So what you have to do is listen to children, and you have to understand what they're saying to you, so that you can kind of translate those messages into language that politicians and other people who make decisions about children can understand. I don't mean that in a patronizing manner, and I'm not saying anything about party politics, but sometimes politicians struggle to understand the importance children place on certain things in their lives. And when I was the Children's Commissioner, I met children in all kinds of circumstances, in all kinds of difficulties, in all kinds of challenging situations. So children, giving you some examples at random, children having end-of-life care services and support, children in school, children in prison, children finding themselves out on the street playing, those kind of things that happen in children's lives. And whatever the circumstance and however difficult their lives, children have a number of consistent key messages. And the first one is the importance of children's play. So what children don't do is to say, Keith, or Natalie or Laura or Jane, I want to tell you about the importance of children's play. They don't communicate it that way. They communicate it in different ways. They might draw you a picture. They might play something out. They might do something that could be interpreted as a kind of a challenging behavior. But what they do is emphasize the importance of play. And I'm going to give you a couple of examples. So I met a child in a hospice. I'd never been into a hospice before. It was a lovely environment. It was a warm environment. But this child, who was 11, she was going to be 12 in a month's time, told me that what she wanted more than anything for her birthday party was to have her friends with her so that she could once more play. What she wanted to do was play. This was a child who was completely surrounded by medical equipment and with incredible nurses and care staff who were doing everything they could to make her life as fun as it could possibly be. But for that child to have that opportunity to play with her friends at a party within the hospice was almost impossible to arrange. And I didn't have much influence, but one of the things I could influence as Children's Commissioner was to say to people, what is it that stops us from getting those friends in to play with this child? And what stopped us was a whole load of different things. And we overcame those barriers, and she had a birthday party. She played, her friends played, they cried, they laughed. They had a great time. The importance of children's play in that circumstance was really important to understand. And everybody who professionally or on a voluntary capacity or as a family member could see the benefit of that. So what are the benefits of children's play? And, you can understand the kind of theoretical benefits, and you can kind of talk about them a lot, things around resilience, things about enabling children to manage risk, enabling children to assess different situations, coping with boredom, inventing play games, doing all those kind of things which we describe as learning through play. They are really significant, and they are really, really important. Another example, children talk about wanting to play and having opportunities to play outdoors hugely. It's a massive thing. So if you then ask children, what is it that stops you from playing outdoors? Children will talk about adults. Children will talk about rules. Children will talk about adults complaining about children playing outdoors. I've met 8, 9, and 10-year-olds who talk to me about antisocial behavior orders and ASBOs, as if playing outdoors could generate such a response from an adult. I mention all of that in the context of remembering that Wales is a country that prides itself on its commitment to the UN Convention on the Rights of the Child. And Article 31 of the Convention of the Rights of the Child, as you will all know and remember, is all about children's right to play, and that children have and a complete right to play. And one of the things I think that stimulated that convention and those articles was about recognizing what children communicate about the importance of children's play. So they will talk about having space and time to play, to enjoy a variety of relaxing opportunities, an opportunity to get involved in all kinds of experiences that they wouldn't otherwise have. But they'll also talk about how play helps them to keep safe, how it makes them healthy, and ultimately it's about their happiness and it's about having fun. What children also recognize is that us adults, including governments, have got to do everything that we can to remove barriers and opportunities to children's play. That's why I think, you know, listening to Jane earlier talking about parents who aren't aware around out of school childcare club opportunities and maybe not accessing those opportunities in the way that they should, need to understand the importance and the significance of play in children's lives. You can't really put a value on play opportunities for children, particularly if you really listen to what children say about the benefits of play in their lives. And one of the things that I was involved in most recently for Welsh Government was doing some work on youth work. And there's a ministerial review of play, which Jane and others no doubt have spoken to you about before, with a series of recommendations that looking at how we can further promote children's play in Wales. And there's been a piece of work going on around youth work, which is brilliant in terms of the timing for both of those pieces of work. And there are things within that which overlap, things around sort of workforce development and looking at how the two sectors can benefit from in each other's experience. But one of the things from a youth work perspective that was really important for youth workers to understand was how important it is for older children to play, to have fun. And why is that? Well, that's for exactly the same reasons as it's important for younger children. It's about their growth, it's about their development, it's about opportunities to evaluate risk, to build friendships and to build resilience. One of the things that Jane mentioned that I'm involved in at the moment is working on youth justice matters. And it's a real shame to be able to report this, but 60% of children coming into contact with the police and ultimately into the Youth Justice Service have a speech, language and communication need. And when we think about those children who are transitioning from year 6 to year 7 in school, particularly thinking about the impact of the pandemic in their lives, those what people often refer to as informal learning opportunities, in other words, learning through play and through those experiences, have a massive role to play in speech, language and communication. And we've heard, I think, through some of the things that people have been talking about this evening, just how important play is in enabling children to grow in their confidence. So when we look at the moment about implementing the recommendations in the ministerial review of play, I hope that we keep a focus on two things. Firstly, that children have an absolute right to play. It's embedded in Article 31 of the UN Convention on the Rights of the Child. And secondly, we have to listen to what children and young people tell us about their lives and what makes a difference. And if we can get people to really understand that, what children will be saying to them is that they need that opportunity to play and they need that opportunity to relax and have fun in a safe environment. And I just want to congratulate all of you who are at the Out of School Childcare Conference today. I know there's so many people have been nominated, 400 or so people just now had their names put on a screen, but all the work that you do is so important to children. And I applaud you all. Thank you very much. Diolch yn fawr iawn.
Diolch, Keith. That's great. I think hopefully the people online tonight listening to the conference, they all understand the benefits of play. I think it's all our responsibility going forward to flip the narrative, and it's a piece of work that we've got in mind. Flip the narrative about the cost of childcare and flip it to the benefits of play within the out of school childcare sector, and I think it's called a return on investment that parents and carers can make for their children by investing in them having those play opportunities, and maybe not juggling their working from home and looking after their children after school, and maybe investing one night in a space, in an opportunity for their child to go to out of school childcare. So that's work that we're doing going forward. We have had a few questions that have come in ahead of time. The first one being, through your work with youth, are there any challenges that we need to be considering in our work within the early years and primary school age children that will help reduce or prevent any challenges that you're seeing?
Yeah, thanks, Jane. I think I mentioned it earlier, but one that really strikes me is speech, language and communication needs. And particularly, I mean, I suppose this came, this has most recently come to my attention doing the work that I do in youth justice, so children now who get in trouble with the police and find their way into the work of youth justice teams really struggle with their communication. And sometimes that struggle in relation to communication gets interpreted negatively. People aren't taking, children not taking seriously how, in what a difficult situation they might find themselves, that they are being rude or offensive to people, when actually what they're struggling to do is to describe their emotions, to say what it is that's important to them. And adults are interpreting some of those actions in a really difficult way. So I think one of the things that we should really focus in on is speech, language and communication. And, all the benefits that we know around children's play, giving them opportunities to express themselves, to use language, to play with language in the way that, Dr. Cymraeg was talking about different languages and children don't care. That is absolutely true. And what we need to do is build the confidence of children to communicate. And I think that some of the issues that we're finding with children coming into care and some of the issues that we're finding with children who are entering the youth justice system, it largely is around communication needs. And I think play's got a really important part to play in that. Yeah.
I've just had a message from Alex, who's been analysing our sector survey that we undertook towards the end of 2023. And speech and language is the second most common challenge in clubs re-support needs. So, that it is obviously something that we need to work on going forward to support the sector to meet these challenges. And we'll certainly be trying to do that going forward. The second question that we've got this evening is, do you feel the link and joined up working between play work and youth work is more critical than ever due to children having access to media and news younger and younger, children being more advanced due to these things?
Yeah, I do, and I can see that Phoebe's asked that question. I think there are a few things in that question. So just trying to unpick them a bit. As somebody who I said when I became the Children's Commissioner, I knew a bit about youth work, but I didn't know anything about play. And the thing that strikes you when you come in to something in that way, you see things through a different, and you ask maybe naive questions. And one of the naive questions I remember is why is play in policy terms based in a kind of childcare world? Youth work in policy terms is placed in a youth work field, in an education world, and these two worlds don't meet. Well, of course they should meet, because children and young people grow up, don't they? They progress, and children accessing play opportunities and youth work opportunities do not describe them as play schemes and youth clubs. They just describe them as activities that they're involved in. So I think anything that joins up those two sectors is really, really important. And I suppose the second part of all of that, and why it's so critical, children have access to media and news younger and younger. That is absolutely true. And one of the things that struck me when I was Children's Commissioner, there was historic child abuse being reported during my time as Children's Commissioner, and it centred on some of the North Wales children's homes that no longer exist, but at the time were involved in child abuse scandals, and adults my age, 50, 60, 70 years of age, were talking about the abuse they suffered as children, and what impact it had on them. Mm-hmm. And what struck me about that, as that became more and more within social media and in mainstream media, was how much children wanted to talk about that experience that those adults were saying. In other words, you must never underestimate the sophisticated understanding of children and how they access what's going on in the media. They have a very clear and open approach to listening to things that happen, that come in from everywhere. Yeah. And what they want more than anything is trusted adults who they can talk to about the things that they're picking up from social media and mainstream media in a trusted and safe way. And both play and youth workers are very often those trusted adults. And, if you open your mind to listening to what children talk about, they'll tell you all kinds of things, and they'll trust information with you. And that's such a privileged and honourable position for anybody to be in. And play workers and youth workers responding to children who want to talk about things that they're picking up either through social media or mainstream media. It's so important that that those children are heard, and B, that they are having those conversations with trusted adults in safe environments.
Absolutely, couldn't agree with you more. We've got one more question that's come in from Sarah. Any suggestions as to how we can get others outside of the play work sector to take play seriously and as a child's right?
Yeah, Sarah, that is one of those things that will never ever crack. But we just got to keep doing it. And I think, there was lots about the pandemic that was obviously awful for all of us. Yeah. But one of the things I think that people in different sectors began to appreciate, particularly teachers in schools, and also thinking about people working in healthcare settings, they suddenly saw the benefits of both play work and youth work settings. They suddenly saw how important those sectors are in children's lives. And we saw play workers and youth workers working with children in really difficult circumstances, sometimes through screens like this, at a time when children couldn't access anything physical at all. And that really helped, I think, to promote the play work sector and the youth work sector. And I think we should use, with Welsh Government and with politicians in Wales, we should overtly use the UN Convention on the Rights of the Child much more than we do. They are signed up as a government a real commitment to the UN Convention on the Rights of the Child. And when we see play work opportunities denied, or we see youth work opportunities denied, we should use the convention to hold those politicians and decision makers to account, to make sure that those things are made available to children. Children have a right to do it. I used to think, when I was the Children's Commissioner, I used to say to my team all the time, we need children to start rebelling and speaking out and saying, you know, we need a revolt. We need children to start running amok and sort of saying, we need this, we need that. But it's absolutely true. You've got to listen to children. You've got to use the convention, and you have to hold people to account. I know Clwb Plant Cymru is brilliant in terms of consultation responses, getting things into Welsh Government politicians so that the playwork sector gets its voice heard. We've got to continue to do that. We've got to continue to bang the drum about just how important both play and youth work are to children.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. And, you know, in any meeting that I'm in with Welsh Government or officials, then all of my Culham colleagues will know that I bang that drum loud for play work and for the older age childcare, which sometimes gets overlooked in the light of the early years and seemingly on occasions more important part of the childcare sector. And that wasn't that I think it's more important, because I think they've got equity and parity, and you know, the older children definitely need as much support to play and to access childcare as the younger ones do.
Absolutely.
So, thank you ever so much for this evening, Keith. I really appreciate it's been quite inspirational, your talk, and you know, it's great to see you advocating for play and for youth work in the way that you do. So thank you, diolch o galon, for this evening. I'd like now, if possible, to ask you to present the following awards. So fittingly, the Play Champion, which is sponsored by Play Wales, and then Play Worker of the Year. So I'll hand over to you, and I think we will hopefully have possibly winners online, able to join us online. I'm not sure if in the waiting room, but I'll change slides first. So the first one is Play Champion. Over to you, Keith. Thank you.
Great, thanks, Jane. So Play Champion, an out-of-school childcare club that has championed children's right to play and striven to provide high-quality play opportunities for the children in their care. And the winner is Tiddlywinks from Neath Port Talbot. Congratulations to Tiddlywinks. And Vicky is there. Well done. Many congratulations, Vicky.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations, Vicky. Great that you could join us this evening.
It's a pleasure and an honour. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That's brilliant.
And we'll move on now to Play Worker of the Year.
Okay, Play Worker of the Year, a play worker who embodies the playwork principles and has gone above and beyond to provide an excellent service for children, parents, carers, and the local community. And the winner is Sarah Sharp from Poppins Daycare in the Vale of Glamorgan.
Oh, wow. Thank you very much.
Lovely to see you. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Sarah. Well done.
You look suitably shocked.
I am.
That's great. Thank you ever so much, Keith.
My pleasure.
Thanks for joining us this evening, and no doubt we'll chat more soon. I'd now like to introduce Nicole Lovett, Development Manager based in North Wales, to present the award for commitment to continuing professional development. This award is sponsored this evening by Agored Cymru. Welcome, Nick.
Thanks, Jane. So we've seen all of the playwork qualifications achieved this year, but alongside gaining a playwork qualification, continued professional development enhances knowledge and skills on an ongoing basis. This award is to an out-of-school childcare club that is committed to encouraging and supporting its staff to attend training and workshops to enhance their professional development, supporting quality childcare provision. And the winner is Dylan's Den, in Rhondda and Taff. Congratulations, Dylan's Den.
Congratulations. I'm not sure Dylan's Den joining us this evening. No, they're not. But congratulations. I can see that they're online because they've been
congratulating everybody else. So it's nice to actually be able to congratulate Dylan's Den as well.
I think just had a message from Sophie. Unfortunately, Dylan's Den are having issues joining us, which is a real shame. And sorry that we've had connection issues there, but congratulations. Oh, we may well have Catherine joining us now.
Congratulations,
Catherine.
Congratulations, Dylan's Den.
Oh, thank you so much. It's a real surprise.
I'm not sure. Congratulations on continuing commitment to continuing professional development. And we can see on screen that you've got an excellent training programme, not only essential training, but fun play training as well. So that's excellent. Thank you ever so much. And thank you for joining us this evening.
I'll step out of the way and hand over to Alex.
Thanks, Nick. So our vision is a Wales where children play and communities prosper. We want to ensure that this vision is fully inclusive, that all children are able to play within accessible quality childcare provision where staff and children can thrive in a supportive culture. So the next award is Promoting Positive Diversity. And this goes to a club which is focused on creating an enriched culture where all employees, children and families can flourish, that's a mouthful, and celebrate their diversity and differences within an inclusive ethos. And the winner is... Well, hello again, Dylan's Den. The winner is Dylan's Den, Rhondda and Taff, a multicultural setting accepting children from all nationalities and cultures. Multiple resources have been purchased to show equality and diversity, and display boards show countries from around the world. There's also a champion, Chloe Adams, for equality and diversity to drive forward the importance of this. Well done, Dylan's Den.
Congratulations. And I think Catherine has left the backstage area. She made a swift exit. So, but congratulations anyway, again, Catherine. And thank you, Alex.
So I have another award, and that's the Champions of Inclusion. And this goes to a childcare club that works hard to provide inclusive quality provision and to welcome and support accessibility for all children, staff and families. And the winner goes to, I feel like I need a drum roll here, Child's Play at Limited in Swansea. Well done, Child's Play.
Congratulations. And I don't think that Child's Play have been able to join us this evening, unfortunately. But hopefully they're online and able to celebrate watching on YouTube. So thank you, Alex, for presenting those two awards. On now to our next award, sponsored by Cambrian Training. This is the Out of School Childcare Club of the Year. I was going to say the world then, it probably is as well. Is a setting that embodies the Playwork principles and is an excellent example of the benefit of quality play and childcare for children and families. And the winner is Park Boros in Wrexham, Boros Park in Wrexham. The club is always outside and has excellent outdoor resources, many of which are loose parts. Children choose their activities and support each other with the staff using planning in the moment. It's a fire pit area and many logs. They make excellent use of their outdoor environment. In their recent CIW inspection, they were given 4 excellents. And you can see there some of the comments that the parents have given in this nomination. And I think Sarah was going to join us representing Boris Park. I'm not sure if she's been able to join us. I don't think it's looking like she's been able to join us backstage. So hopefully watching online, and congratulations to Sarah and Boris Park on winning Out of School Club of the Year. So as we close, I'd like to thank our conference sponsors. Diolch, thank you, Stephen, Laura, Natalie and Keith, for your inspirational words and advice for the sector. I personally would like to thank all of my intrinsically motivated staff who support the out of school sector with such passion and professionalism. But most of all, I'd like to thank the sector for your role in helping to improve the lives of children and their families and supporting communities in Wales to prosper. All prize winners will be receiving the trophy to celebrate their achievement, and hopefully we'll be able to get some photos in club with the children with the trophies in order to share their successes. Before I close, I'd like to remind you about our member survey, which is currently open, and I would urge you to fill in. And if you have any comments on our membership or what you would like us to offer, then you can leave your comments within that survey. And also, tell us about what you think about what we offer as a membership organisation. Also, you'll shortly see the launch of a brand new competition. We're looking for a mascot, and we want the children in the clubs that we support to design it. So keep an eye out for that in your goodie bag, and maybe your club could be the winning entry. If you'd be so kind as to support us by completing the evaluation found on the QR code that you can see on screen. If you scan it with your phone, you'll be able to access a short form which will help us evaluate how well, in your opinion, tonight went. It's hard to see how it went because it's all online. So for me, I'm just looking at a screen. I can't tell what the reaction is or how well it went. I know I thoroughly enjoyed the speakers this evening. But we want to build on what we offer for next year. Alternatively, I think you'll find that there's a link to the same survey or evaluation in the comments now on YouTube. As a small incentive, at the end of the evaluation, there's a link to a virtual goodie bag with a Playwork Principles Handbook, an Ebont Winter Edition, a Cullum Winter Newsletter, which I would certainly recommend you share with your families and wider. It promotes the benefit of play. It starts to flip that narrative about the cost of childcare and about the using it for childcare for the benefit of the children, not merely as to go out to work. Use it as a marketing tool for your setting. Send it to the schools that you pick up from. Ask them to share it with their parents. There are also links to the mascot competition I've just mentioned and the membership survey. There are playing outdoors and exploring nature resources. There's the free membership flyer, and then resources from our sponsors, including links to Dr. Cymraeg's books, website and social media. I've read his Welsh and I book, which tells the tale of him learning Welsh. It's a really good read. So diolch o galon, thank you for all your time tonight and continuing to provide vital support to children and families in Wales.